Awesome.
I feel like I should have worn some okay.
Why? I was expecting the shirt, to be fair. You did mention that you're going to wear a shirt, so I was expecting that. But it's all good. It's all good. All right, so we're going live.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay. So we're currently live for our third session of the EBE, which stands for Expo Business Engagement. I just want to say a good evening to everybody. Thank you all so much for joining myself, and also have a special guest on the show as well, but I won't introduce him just yet. But we're going to dive into some conversations and just basically speak all things business today, as we have been doing. We're currently on our third week of the EBE Insta Live Talking Tuesday, so this is really exciting for us as a team. For those of you that originally started with us, we were actually on IGTV, but we've now moved to this platform, which is on our YouTube, Facebook, and also via our LinkedIn page as well. So thank you all so much for spending your Tuesday evening with myself. My name is Lucy, and I will be the host for this evening to just speak with the two businesses that we have on the show today. But for those of you that are not familiar with the live sessions that we have been having, so the EBE, you're probably wondering what's EBE all about. So the EBE came about from the GUBA Trade Expo team, who are under the GUBA Enterprise. So we focus predominantly on businesses, getting African products into the UK market, and also just encouraging people to buy, Ghana-made products, and to support Black-owned businesses. So we felt, what better way to engage with our network than to use this time wisely, as everyone's at home, to engage with businesses via an online platform. So that's why we came up with the live sessions of EBE, which is the Expo Business Engagement Platform. So that's just basically what it's all about, and that's what we're going to dive into this evening. But before we even go into that, just wanted to give you guys a recap as to what my colleague Adra went through last week. She actually had an inventors edition, so she spoke with Dr. Lucy, who created a ventilator. During this pandemic, a lot of inventions have come about. I think it's a great way to shed some light on the level of talent that we actually have in Ghana, and also just within our Black community as well. So that was a great session. And she also had on the show a gentleman called Richard, who is the CEO of the Solar Wash Ghana, which currently has actually been endorsed by government as well. So it was a great opportunity to see how a young man who create shoes has now been able to create such a great innovation to help people during this pandemic. So that's what happened last week for those that weren't with us last week. So I just wanted to just get familiar with everyone that's on our live stream today, find out where people are coming, where people are listening from, where they're streaming from, just to get an idea as to who do we have engaging with us. So if you are on the live, please do say hello, tell me where you are, where you're listening to us from, where you're streaming from, and just say hello to us wherever you are. Every 1 second. So with everything going on during this pandemic, businesses have been affected. Have been really affected, and some for the good, some for not so good. So I think it's important within this time for businesses to connect. Reason why, hi Priscilla, we've got Priscilla that's tuned in from London. Thank you so much for being with us this evening, and it's important for us to highlight as to how businesses can connect during this time. So I'll give it about 5 more minutes. But before we dive into that, it'll be interesting. I've got a special guest. I'm not going to introduce him just yet, but I'm just going to put this question out to our viewers. So I want to find out, during this time of staying at home, during quarantine, what have you guys been up to? How are you guys keeping yourselves busy? Are you guys picking up new skills, or are you guy sleeping and eating, which is predominantly what I've been doing, but I do other things as well. Are you taking on exercise a bit more? What is it that you're doing during this time? So make sure you comment below, let me know what you guys are up to. But as well as that, just a quick reminder to follow us on all our social media platforms, on our GUBA Expo page, on Facebook, Instagram, and also on our YouTube. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube page, and also on our LinkedIn as well. So make sure you connect with us on those platforms. So during the conversation, there will be an opportunity as well to ask any questions to our guests. If you are a business owner or aspiring business owner, this is a great opportunity for you guys to ask any question that you want. We're here for a whole hour, so please don't hold back. Don't hold back at all. So we've got Sandra, that's all the way from Newcastle. How's it up in Newcastle? I've never been to Newcastle, but I'd like to visit one day. But thank you so much, Sandra, for joining us from Newcastle. Great to see you. And we've got Cecilia. So you've been spending more quality time with your family. That's amazing. I think this is a great time to bond with your family. If you haven't been doing that, then this is a good time to get to know each other, play games, whatever the case may be, so you guys can get to know one another. All right, awesome. So for those that have joined, welcome once again to the GUBA EBE Live Conversation. Hi, Priscilla. You've been working from home, homeschooling, and you've been exercising in your head. That's great. That's great to hear. Hopefully, after this week, you'll be doing more of the physical side of things. Once again, I want to say thank you all so much for joining me. My name is Lucy, and I'll be the host for this evening for the EBE Business Talking Tuesdays, which we are diving into the fashion and food industry, which is there's two important things I would say to women, and also to myself as well, and maybe to men as well, who knows. But those are two industries that we're diving into today. So not to waste any more time, because I think I've spoken enough, and I think it's time for the special guest I have to speak a bit more. So today on the show, I have the CEO of Uncle John's Bakery. Uncle John's Bakery is a Ghanaian specialist bakery established 25 years ago, making bread and cakes just the way it's been done in Ghana 100 years ago. The company was birthed as a result of Uncle John's mother passing down the family's sweetbread secret recipe. Amelia's mother also taught them how to make delicious cakes, pies, pastries, and donuts to broaden the menu. The bakery works to deliver traditional baked Ghanaian goods. It's definitely a household name, one that I am familiar with, and I'm sure some of you are too. So the CEO as I said, I'm joined with the CEO of Uncle John's Bakery. He is a media technology graduate. With his passion for music, he decided that he'll put that on hold to develop the family business. Having taken on the family business, he definitely has established some great contracts with well-known brands such as Tesco and also Morrison's. Not only that, he's also received a GUBA Black Star Award, which he was given in 2017. So he's no stranger to the GUBA Enterprise team. His drive, resilience, and his constant innovation has taken the family business to high heights, and he's definitely unstoppable. And today it gives me great pleasure to welcome to you all the CEO of Uncle John's Bakery, Mr. Samuel Mensah. So nice to meet you. Good evening. Thank you so much for being with me. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yeah.
Awesome. I hope I did the introduction justice.
The introduction was amazing. It was amazing.
Awesome. So how have you been keeping during this time of quarantine and the lockdown? How have you been keeping?
It's been okay, I guess. I think we are one of the essential businesses, so we have to facilitate the market with the breads and cakes and stuff like that we do. It's difficult. It's difficult for everyone. There's changes for everybody. Our store has seen a little bit of a change. The footflow of how our store used to be is not the same. So it's just trying to innovate and trying to make, see what we can do, how it's going at the moment. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I want to dive, just before we go into the business side of you, I wanted to dive into you as an individual. We want to know who you are, because you pursue music. So music, bakery, please help me out.
To be honest, I think music has always been a passion of mine. I like music, listen to music. It's been something I've liked from when I was young. So, you know, like every teenager, you know, growing up, they like music, they want to get into it, and that's what I was doing. But my parents had always been doing the bakery, so I'd always kind of seen it, go to the shop, help out if I when I could. But when the transition actually happened, it was more to do with, I saw my parents had hit a glass ceiling in terms of where they could go. You know, they weren't born in this country. They didn't study here. So there was a lot of things that they were missing out here and there. You know, they did the best of what they could to the ability of what they had. So my thing was just looking at the business and thinking, do you know what? This is more or less legacy. So let me, you know, put my energies into that and then continue it, because I see it as something that's much bigger than myself. So that's the main reason of why I got involved.
And at what age did you get involved in the family business?
I think I was maybe about 28, 9. I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We won't discuss how long you've been in the business.
I've always been in and out and helping and stuff like that, but I've actually been like taken over as a director for the past, I would say, 5 years now.
Okay. So what brought about that transition to you becoming director? What was the process?
So basically, I used to come into the shop a lot of the times. This is before we had a factory, before we was even distributing to any supermarkets or anything like that. And I would always sit down with my mum and I'll discuss ideas with her, and she would always ask me questions and stuff. And I kind of felt like they need a bit more help with it. But I was just focused on what I was doing. But I had a conversation with someone like years back about legacy, about, you know, finding a true purpose and really, you know, having something that you can pass down to generations. And it kind of really struck me. So that's where I kind of began the whole change of getting involved in the business. And then literally from when I kind of got involved, I did, we literally like pretty much started again from scratch. So I did brand development. We changed the packaging, we changed how the logo looks, everything changed. So people that have known the product and the brand from many years ago would have seen how many changes that come across. And so it pretty much started from there. I didn't really say I'm coming in to be a director or anything like that. I just wanted to help and you know, make.
Sorry, I think the signal, I think you broke up a little bit. What was the last thing you said, sorry?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to get involved to make it the best that I could do. And that was my main outset for getting involved in the business.
Okay. And in terms of the level of involvement that you had and now, and the level of involvement that you have now, has that changed drastically? And what does that look like in terms of your level of involvement?
The level of involvement now is pretty much, I'm like the final buck stops with me in terms of decision making and stuff like that. My parents have, you know, they trust exactly what my judgment is. It's not been easy. It's not been easy at all, you know. And I think sometimes, you know, being younger generation and coming with the ideas and, you know, the business is their baby and you know, and I'm coming with all of these wild ideas and stuff. It's not been easy, but they've seen through, you know, the progress and processes that's been put in place, you know, why I used to say what I say, why I used to enforce what I wanted to enforce. And so I think they've seen it, and I think the proof is always in the pudding. You know, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So obviously working with your family constantly, like, what is it? So I'm guessing you're the only child?
No, I'm not the only child.
No. I see CEO of Uncle John's Bakery. All I see is your face. So I'm wondering, are there people in the business that?
No, we've got. Do you know what? I've got 2 brothers and a sister. And they're all involved in the business. I mean, they're younger. They've, you know, been through the education system. They've done their thing as well. Sometimes it's like one foot in, one foot out. But you know, they also put their hand in when they can and do what they can when they need to. And, you know, a family business is, from the outside looking in, it can be great at times. And I think but at times it's very difficult because this is your blood. This is the people that you've grown up with. And, you know, when you care about certain decisions, you have to have a fine line between it being business and family. So just finding that medium ground, basically. But yeah, we've been able to kind of get past that. And I think in terms of leading it forward, everyone has kind of entrusted in me that, and they understand, you know, the vision that I have, and, you know, taking it from there.
Awesome. So with regards to, you know, working with your family, as you said, sometimes there are good, there's a positive and there's the negatives. So what would you say you enjoy the most with working with your family?
Sorry, say that again.
What would you say is the part that you enjoy the most working with your family? What would you enjoy the most?
I think what you would always enjoy the most is that working with families is always going to be people you can trust. You can always trust them to be there when you need them. That's what I'd say. And obviously seeing your family every day, it is a good thing, but at the same time, sometimes it's like, give me my space. But it's a nice thing.
Amazing. That's awesome. So, as I mentioned before, you've received numerous awards. You've been in rooms where people would only imagine, such as 10 Downing Street, you know, receiving so many awards and accolades and contracts and stuff like that. So, for you, what would you say has been like the biggest highlight for you, having, you know, reached from just being a family member, gaining interest, now you're CEO, and now you're in places like Downing Street and, you know, winning awards. So for you, what has been the biggest achievement for you?
It's funny because I sometimes don't even look back on achievements as much. I'm always like thinking of like 2 years ahead in terms of what I want to do. So taking that time to embrace what's been happening and stuff like that has not been something that I've really thought about too much. And I was actually mentioning that the other day in the conversation. But I think one of the main biggest highlights was the fact that, you know, being invited to 10 Downing Street, being invited as a, you know, as a Black business leader, and getting honored by the Chancellor. And, you know, my mum was there and she had a chance to see, she's come from Dansuma in Ghana to come to the UK, and, you know, we're in 10 Downing Street and being honored as a business and also catering for the whole event. So I think that to see that joy in her face and to see that pride and proudness of what, you know, how far we've come is, that for me will probably be like one of the biggest moments.
Fantastic. And also, just to shed some light as well on the achievements, you also, you know, you secured contracts with Tesco and also Morrison. So that in itself is a big thing. Did you ever see that? Was that always the goal, or how did it come about?
It's always been my goal to you know, I think with business, once you do something well and you put your passion and your energy into it wholeheartedly, the possibilities are endless, and it's always just a matter of time. And that's in anything that you do. It's always a matter of time before you know, excel to a certain level of greatness within it. But yeah, the supermarkets was not something I was ever too worried about of trying to get into or anything like that, because the first and foremost thing was the product was about quality. It's about, you know, showcasing heritage, showcasing the culture, which a lot of people have nostalgia with, a lot of people, you know, have enjoyed it throughout many years. So it's no different to a lot of the bigger brands out there. My kind of mentality was worldwide, and that's what I said to my parents from the beginning. When I first got involved, I said worldwide is how I view the company, and it's not just a local thing. And yeah, literally within a matter of, I think we did first with Tesco's. I think it was within a matter of a year we the Tesco's contract, and we were with them for 3 years, and then came Morrison. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. So were there any stumbling blocks between, so what was the process of getting into these top brands? What was the process?
I think the main process, always when you're going to go and deal with like market leaders and massive companies, is presenting yourself well. So the back end of it is making sure that you have got good systems in place, making sure that you know, you've got a reliable workforce, making sure that your product, you've done all your due diligence that you can, you understand the industry well enough. And then from there, you know, once you get a chance to present it to them, it's a matter of just, you know, negotiating the right kind of deal on contracts and then going from there.
Okay, awesome. So those are the processes that you went through. And did you have to fine tune anything, go back and forth? Was there a lot of back and forth in the process?
To be honest, both supermarkets actually approached us.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that's from music as well. I learned that approach, that sometimes it's not good to force yourself too much, but do everything you can to the best of your ability, and people and that's what it was. But to maintain it and to stay there throughout the longevity takes a lot of conversation, takes a lot of you know, we went through a process where we had to get a accreditation for the business, which it's called the SALSA accreditation, and that accreditation is not something that's easy to come by. We are probably one of the very few Black businesses to have that sort of accreditation in food. And that means having processes that you can trace your products back to the supplier. You can find out exactly how many products have gone out and who has got what. And all of these things, and putting that in place was probably, I would say, like a 2-year process to get done. And it was hard. It was very hard. But doing that journey, I've learned a lot. And it's now easier to, you know, tell people about that kind of journey and what to expect and what to do and how to put it in place and, you know, go on from there.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And obviously, during you were so determined that even though you were faced with all that frustration and everything, you still went for it. So that's actually really commendable, and I must say it's impressive, absolutely, and it's so inspiring as well. So, as well as because I know when it comes, I just want to dive into branding quickly before we move on to our next guest. So your packaging, it's bright yellow. What's the reasoning behind that, and what encouraged you to have the level of branding that you do have? What's the rationale behind that, should I say?
Yellow, the color, it gives this vibrancy of warmth. It gives a welcoming feeling. You know, when the sun shines, everyone is happy. Everyone feels, you know, warm inside. Everyone feels connected a bit more. And Ghana through and through. And that's pretty much the main reason why we stuck with yellow as part of the packaging. It stands out when you put it amongst other products as well. So that was the main reason for that. And then further development was adding like the presentation of the car. Hello.
Sorry, I think you were breaking up. Hello. I think we seem to be lost him. Hello. Hello, Sam. Are you still there? Okay. I think we've lost him. However, I know some of you are just joining the conversation. Are we back? Are we back with Sam now? I think he's back. Okay, whilst we wait for him to reconnect, I know some of you are joining the conversation. Good evening to you all. Thank you all so much for joining me on the EBE GUBA Trade Expo live talk session. I know that some of you are listening from Ghana. Hello to you all. Some of you are also listening from the UK. It's great to see so many of you joined in today. And as I introduced before, I do have two special guests with me on the live session today. As I was speaking with Samuel, who is the CEO of John's Bakery. Oh, and John is back. Hello. Hi. Sorry, I think it's the internet connection, but we're not giving up. We're not giving up. So you were talking about, you know, the reasoning behind your branding and things like that. And also there was a question as well as to top tips you would give for branding, for putting your brand on the shelf as well. So maybe into that as well.
Okay. So so for us it was mainly, you know, we added the Dinka symbols into the branding also, which was a representation of culture, heritage. And I felt it was very important that once we are placing ourselves within a marketplace to a wider scale, is to not forget the roots and really identify that we are proud of where we come from and this is who we are, you know, and so many other different, you know, races and demographics do the same thing, from the Chinese to the Polish. So as a Ghanaian, as an African, you know, being in the same marketplaces, there's nothing wrong with, you know, standing up for, you know, exactly who you are and putting your culture and heritage to the forefront, because people buy into that anyway. But I'll definitely say a tip for getting into like the supermarkets and stuff is basically always making sure that you're keeping your message plain and simple, having a clean cut understanding of your brand, and understanding also making sure that people can understand your story. Because I think, especially in this day and age now, everything is based on experience. Everything is based on, you know, how things look and how people feel about it. So it's very important to have that and put that across in your branding and packaging. And I always have this battle with everyone in the office sometimes from time to time about knowing your facts and figures. So always know exactly where you stand within your business, know exactly, you know, what are your KPIs of what you do, what are your profit margins, what are your, you know, how much waste do you have. And once you understand that, when you go and sit down with these, you know, buyers and stuff like that, that's all they care about, to be honest. That's all they care about. So you can present to them, you know, that there is a place in the market. And, you know, for African products, there is a massive place in the market. You know, they will take it all day long.
It's funny that you actually mentioned the actual the African market, because it's something that we find that a lot of African-owned businesses don't last maybe longer than 2 years for many reasons. And firstly, why do you think that is? And secondly, do you think with the African market, what do you think is lacking? What's currently lacking in the market? First of all, why do you think that businesses don't succeed, African businesses don't succeed, and what do you think is lacking in the market? Those are just 2 questions.
I think resilience, a lot of the time. One of our key mottos, and one of the things that, you know, my mum always said to my dad was "Obeye," which is like, it will all be well. And, you know, having that in mind and thinking that, you know, it's never going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. And, you know, when I think about it, and I think, you know, we've done this for 25 years. This year is our 25th year of operating as a business. And to get to that point of when you're, you know, you realize that things are working, you know, even now we still have difficulties now and then. It's not easy, but you always have to put your best foot forward, which is important. There's going to be difficulties like anything in life, and I think when you apply that mindset to business, it will take you through. And another thing, I think sometimes with a lot of some African businesses can be professionalism, and that sometimes holds us back, and it creates a negative connotation in terms of how people look at our business. And there's a stereotypical view of African business sometimes because of professionalism, which is it holds us, is a big hindrance. So that is something to really take into consideration when you're doing business, of being professional, being courteous to every single customer that you have, and always, you know, the customer sometimes may not be right, but there is also a way of always dealing with issues in a way that is reasonable for both sides. And I think that's what's kind of helped us carry throughout the years.
Amazing. So I know that there are so many questions that are coming through, and also I've got so many questions to ask you. However, we will be coming back to you to speak more about how your business has been dealing with the pandemic and what things you put in place. So we will be coming back to you. We're just going to go over to our next guest, and then as soon as I'm done with her, I'll come back to you. But thank you so much for shedding some light onto the business, your experience. It's been awesome, and I can't wait to hear what you have, what else you have in store for us as well. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Once again, thank you so much to our CEO, Samuel Mensah, who is the CEO of Uncle Ben's Bakery. For those of you that have joined in, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see so many people online. This is great. You guys are spending your Tuesday evening with myself. Welcome to the GUBA Trade Expo EBE Live Conversation. Just a reminder, please make sure you follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and on also Instagram. And also make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is GUBAenterprise.tv. Also, don't forget to send me your questions as we dive into more conversations with my next guest. Okay. So I believe my next guest is here. She's ready, looking fashionable and pretty as she is. So Bev is a multi-award fashion brand from Ghana that specializes in top-of-the-range accessories for men, women, and also children. The brand recently launched its ready-to-wear clothing line for women at her flagship store, which is based in Osu behind the Photo Club. So for those that are familiar with Osu, that's where she's located. The products range from authentic handmade quality bags and also clutches, trendy outfits, comfortable footwear and slippers, and also beautiful jewelry and modern accessories, which are all produced in Ghana. These handbags and accessories are made with high quality African wax prints, rare and unique beads, and also the best raw materials and quality leather that are carefully hand-picked by the designer herself, making sure that the final product is definitely top notch. So it gives me great pleasure and it's actually an honor to have the CEO of Selena Bev. Thank you so much, Selena Bev, for joining me. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me, Lucy. You're looking great.
Sorry.
You're looking great.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I was coming on with a fashion icon, so I had to make sure that I was coming on point. I couldn't just be wearing anything. You know what I mean? I can't be doing. Do you know what I mean? So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you're doing well. You're currently based in Ghana, I believe.
Yes, I'm based in Ghana.
Based in Ghana, yes. So great news for you. Your lockdown has been taken off. Not like us, we're still in lockdown. So it's great news for business owners such as yourself, which I'm sure you're excited and you're happy to hear that the lockdown has been taken off. But with everything that is going on, I think it's important for us to first of all find out who is Selena Bev. So please tell us who are you?
Okay, so I am Selena Bev Mensah. I hope you can hear me. You can? Okay. So I'm Selena Bev Mensah, and I am the CEO and creative director for Selena Bev Designs. And as Lucy said earlier, Selena Bev Designs, we make African-inspired accessories and clothing as well. For 7 years, we were just an accessories brand, but now we do clothes as well. I'm also a trained broadcast journalist. So I've worked on radio and TV before in Ghana. And I actually worked on Rainbow Radio briefly in London as well. Yeah. So I make lovely accessories. If you want the best handmade, made in Ghana accessories, Selena Bev is the place to go. And my shop in Osu is a one-stop shop. You get everything from clothes, accessories, shoes, everything. So that's me basically.
Awesome. I just want to say hello to you. We've got a viewer from New Jersey as well, so welcome to you. So you mentioned you worked at the radio, which was in the UK. So that means you were in the UK before you went to Ghana. Am I correct?
Yes. I lived in the UK for 11 years. Yeah, wow. I studied and worked in the UK. I mean, the Rainbow thing was just a brief period. I had a friend who actually had a show. It was a gospel show. So I told him I wanted to get into the media. So he used to make me guest present with him. Yeah. So that was just for a few months. That was just a brief thing. But yeah, I studied law in the UK. I did a law degree. I said, yes, I was convinced that I can be a fine lawyer. So I did a law degree, but I didn't like it. I realized that wasn't my calling. So after the degree, I lived and worked in the UK for a couple of years before deciding to move back to Ghana to pursue a career in the media. And then I did that for 4 years before I started my brand in 2012. Yeah.
Right. So you've moved from the UK, you're now in Ghana, you've now established your brand. Okay, so what brought about the passion and the desire for fashion and for accessories?
Right. So since I was a teenager, I've always loved fashion, especially accessories, because as a plus size woman, I found that getting fashionable clothes in my size was always difficult. But with accessories, it doesn't matter what size you are. So that is what started my passion for accessories in particular. And then I was always interested in sort of having my own handbag range. And that's how I started. I started with just handbags before I introduced jewelry and footwear and now clothes. But I didn't think it was something that I could make a career from or I could make money from. Yeah. So that's why when my parents convinced me to study law, I decided to go with it because I thought, being a lawyer would be prestigious and fun. But nah, I didn't enjoy it, like I said. So after living and working in the UK for 11 years, I worked for Marks & Spencer, Boots the Chemist, Argos. I did all jobs here and there. I worked in the financial sector as well whilst I was in the UK, yeah. But I found that media was what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a broadcast journalist because, in my head, I was going to be the African Opera. So, yeah, from the age of 15, that was my and I said, I'm going to be Oprah. I've told the entire this before. And so I really wanted to do, something to do with the media. And that is how come I moved to Ghana to pursue that career in the media. And it worked for 4 years. I was enjoying it. I even did another degree in communications at the Ghana Institute of Journalism. Yeah. But in 2012, the fashion world was calling. When I moved back to Ghana in 2008, I realized African prints were really involved. They were using them for accessories, for cushions, for chairs, for everything. And I was intrigued and I loved them. So I used to buy all these African print accessories and then people would compliment me. People asked if I made them myself. And so I started thinking, that fashion thing, maybe I can explore that area, and that's how the fashion thing started. So it was in 2012, I was working on radio. I was at Radio XYZ, hosting talk shows on radio. And I just decided to try my hands into the fashion, So I found some fabrics. I didn't know how to sew. I didn't know how to design, nothing. But I had ideas, I knew what kind of bags and accessories I wanted to be holding and the kind of quality I wanted. So I found some workers, made some samples. I tested them. And my friends and my family loved them. And that's how it all started for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So having moved into that industry as well, do you feel like that was the best move for you? Did you have any regrets when you moved to Ghana when you started this?
It was the best move ever. Absolutely the best move. Yeah, because if I was still living in the UK, I don't think I'll be selling a bed. I'll probably still be working for Marks & Spencer. And you know what? All those experiences working at retail, top retail shops in the UK, sort of equipped me, prepared me for what I'm doing now. Because now I believe in customer service. I asked for the highest kind of customer service for my, customers. Sorry, my employees, my staff. And so I think it's really helped. It actually really helped. Back then I thought I was just wasting my time. But no, it was all preparing me for what I'm doing now. Because guess what? I'm working retail now. I'm producing my own products and I'm retailing them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So, with awareness of African print and things like that, obviously, since from the time you started, African print has taken a whole different level now. So with everything that's happening, so many people are rocking the African print. It's the thing now. So what would you say makes you different to others that have come up in that industry at the moment?
What makes me different? Okay. I believe my distinctive designs. I make sure my designs are unique. They're different from what's out there, and my quality as well. Because when I was buying my accessories from other designers, that's one thing I found lacking. I realized that they were doing really well, they were creative, but most of them had really poor finishing, and people always complain that made in Ghana products or made in Africa products lack good finishing. So I thought, if I'm going to go into this, I'm going to make sure that mine stands out. It's going to be the highest quality, and I have done some fashion training in Italy. And so I like to believe that my bags are made in Ghana, but they have Italian quality. Yes, I did a bag making course in Italy in 2015, all in my efforts to improve upon my finishing and the quality I give to my customers.
That's absolutely amazing. One thing that is going on, I know that within the fashion industry, so many businesses have been affected by, COVID-19 and also during this pandemic. But is it something that you were worried about when, obviously, we were made aware of everything that was happening? Was it a concern for you, or did you have contingency plans in place already before the pandemic?
No, I didn't put plans in place until when I realized that it's become a pandemic, basically. Yeah, I mean, we all heard around January, February that there was a virus going on, but I honestly never thought I was going to get to Ghana, because even Ebola, that started from Africa, never got to Ghana. So I thought China is so far away, yeah. So it's really affected the business really badly. I'm not even going to pretend. I've lost about 99% of revenue. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, you were saying the lockdowns be lifted in Ghana, but guess what? My shop is still closed because for me, I still feel it's not safe for both my staff, myself, and my customers to reopen the shop just yet. So we've been trying to sell through social media, and it's not that easy because right now everybody just wants to stay alive, be able to breathe. They're not thinking about fashion. Yeah. So it was when a few days before the first 2 cases were announced that I actually started putting plans in place. Yes, I made sure that my staff were standing 1 or 2 meters away from customers. We're cleaning all the surfaces at least twice a day. We're using hand sanitizers. Everybody that walked in had to use a hand sanitizer. Yeah, so yeah, I did put plans in place, but it was about a week before it actually got to Ghana, because I thought it was so far away. It wouldn't get here, but hey, I think almost every country has it now, unfortunately.
Yes, it does. It does indeed. There will be. I know that we've spoken about your brand and how your journey's been, and it's inspiring. It's incredible how you made that decision because it's not everyone that's able to leave the life of the West and move to Ghana and go into an industry.
Yeah,
a passion.
It was.
You don't have the knowledge. So it's absolutely it's inspiring to see how far you've come, and your brand is amazing. The bags are amazing. One day.
Oh, thank you.
One day.
Thank you.
I'm praying I'll be able to have that price range and be able to afford it. But I believe that I will one day.
You can afford it.
But I know it's worth it, so I won't even hesitate. I know it's worth it. But thank you so much, Selena. We are going to dive. I'm actually going to invite the owner of Uncle John's Bakery to actually join us in this conversation as we tap into a bit more of COVID-19, how it's affected your businesses, and any tips that you can give to aspiring business owners and also business owners as well in this climate. Thank you so much for joining me again, Sam. I'm so sorry that I had to leave you, but you're back now. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Selena, and also thank you so much, Sam, for joining me. But before we carry on, just want to say hello to everybody who has joined during the course of this conversation. Please, if you have any questions, we will be having a Q&A session very shortly. So please send in your questions for both Sam and Selena. For those who are in the food industry and also in the fashion industry, we'll be diving into those questions. Make sure you're following us on all our social media platforms. Also, make sure you tweet us on our Twitter page and share the hashtag EBE, and also follow our YouTube page, subscribe and comment and like. So yeah, let's dive right into some questions regarding the COVID-19 and how it's affected your business. So this question is just for you, Sam. So with everything that's going on in the food industry, as we know, people have to eat, pandemic or no pandemic, people have to eat. So how has the level of production been for you? Has it jumped scale? How has it been for you? How have you been coping as a business during it?
It's been, there's parts that has gone up, there's parts that's gone down. So for instance, like our store, which is on the high street, the footfall has increased a little bit. We've had to put in the measures of, the safe distancing as well. So not as many people coming to the store as it used to be. But yeah, certain shops that we deliver to also up and down the country have also closed as well. So we had to think very fast in terms of how to balance things out. So we're now online. So we've got online delivery service, which goes up to 8 miles from our store. And I'm working on some logistics to push that.
Connection. Bear me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry, my connection. Apologies. So sorry. So you were speaking about putting certain things in place. So social distancing in your shops. If you could just repeat what you mentioned. Sorry.
Yeah. So social distancing.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So we've been doing social distancing.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
And it's also kind of reduced our foot flow in terms of how many people come inside the store. So it's been a bit slower than usual.
Okay.
But we still tend to get the customers. But a lot of the products that we deliver to also have closed down. So it's been a bit of like a up and a down kind of scale in terms of business. But as you said, people always need to eat. So one of the things that we put on board was to basically put us onto our online platform. So with our new website that we have now, people can go onto our website and do orders within an 8-mile radius. We've also got partnership with Uber Eats. We've also got partnership with Deliveroo. And I'm also talking to Morrison's at the moment in regards to using their online delivery platform as well. So trying to branch it out as much as possible. Hello.
Okay, awesome. So, yes, we're speaking about speaking with Morrison to try and use their platform to deliver to people as well.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, so I know that this is a question for so I know that during this pandemic, as you said, your shop is still closed. So
have some connection issues.
Are you still with us? I think I've lost Selena. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think I've, yeah. Oh, Selena, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I was asking, with the lockdown, sorry, can you hear me? Yeah, so with the lockdown, I was just asking, what things did you put in place before you closed your shop?
What things did I put in place before closing my shop? Before the lockdown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So I said earlier, we started cleaning our surfaces twice a day, not just once a day in the mornings. Everybody who walked into the shop had to use hand sanitizers. The shop girls will greet you at the door and ask you to use hand sanitizers, and some will even opt to wash their hands, and then we allow them to do that. And then also, whenever anyone tried on a clothing item, we steamed it, just to make sure that in case anything has gone in there, it's killed with the heat. And then accessories that were tried on as well were cleaned with disinfecting wipes before being put back onto the shop floor. The staff had to stand 1 meter away from customers. So we did put in all these preventative measures for about a week before we decided to close down, because it was just becoming a bit scary. I just thought it wasn't safe to open. So we decided to close down and sell through social media, which is not so easy. Yeah.
So what was that process for you selling social media?
They're liking the stuff we're posting. We've been using especially our WhatsApp stories and Instagram stories, and they show interest, but everyone say, oh, after lockdown, we'll come for it. Because number one, they don't want to pay delivery fee, and we've tried even offering delivery free, and even at the moment we're running a 10% discount. But like I said earlier, people are not really interested in fashion right now. They're just wondering, am I going to get the virus? Am I going to be okay? Is my family okay? Some are even grieving because they've lost loved ones. So people are not that interested in fashion right now. So we're trying, we're pushing, but we're not making that much sales. Barely. Yeah.
Apart from social media, do you have a website available for people to order on as well?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I need to put in place after COVID-19 or after we resume, because our website is down at the moment. We did have one, but it wasn't that functional, because trying to run an e-commerce website in Ghana is really, really difficult. You need to weigh every single item with the courier services before you can tell the customer how much delivery or shipping is going to be. The payment system is difficult as well because PayPal doesn't work here. They can't really buy directly with their debit and credit cards from the websites in Ghana. So that has been one of my biggest challenges, to be honest. So it's been social media, Facebook and Instagram, because people don't really buy on Twitter. We're on Twitter, but it's mostly Facebook, Instagram, and then WhatsApp. WhatsApp especially.
So that has been a very effective tool for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So would you say it's something that you're going to continue to do after the pandemic, or in terms of the e-commerce?
Sure. We're already doing that, because we don't have a functional website, so we use social media a lot to sell. Yeah, it's just that when the shop is open, it's easier because once you see something on social media and you're in Ghana, you walk in and then you actually feel or try the thing on, But right now they're just going based on the pictures they're seeing, and some are not convinced, and a few too are convinced. Yeah.
Okay. I know that this is to you, Sam. So obviously you're on Uber Eats, as you said, and you're also on Uber Eats. Did you say Deliveroo as well?
Deliveroo, yeah. And then we've got our own ordering platform as well.
Awesome. So with those things, so were those platforms in place post the pandemic, or are you looking to carry that on after everything is done?
Uber Eats and Deliveroo was on from before the pandemic. We had that situation about maybe almost about a year now. But the ordering platform on our website was always something that I wanted to add on there anyway. But the situation kind of fast forwarded the process in terms of getting the e-commerce set up and putting logistics in place. So that was done literally about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. That we were put together.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And how has that been so far?
Yeah, it's been going well. We've been getting orders through it. We're going to be developing some new products as well to put on there. So one thing we've noticed that in the supermarket, people can't get flour. So we're going to start selling small packets of flour for people to do home baking if they need to on there. We're going to be doing food boxes as well, so people can buy, their milk, eggs, all in the package. We're going to call it like the pandemic pack for people to get their stuff in there also. So we'll be putting that on our platform as well.
Okay, that's really, really good. And I know that in light of everything that's happened as well, you also have an offer of giving vouchers to the NHS. So tell us a little bit more about that initiative that you put in place as well.
Yeah, so initially when the pandemic started to kind of get a little bit more, to get a bit worse, I thought about, the NHS staff workers. A lot of people were saying that they can't get to the supermarkets. So we've got family that work in the NHS also. So I just thought, we have bread all day long. We produce literally every single day. So, having the part that we can give back, the best way that we can was just giving a loaf to any single NHS staff can come into store and pick up a loaf once they show their ID, and then they can have that to take home to their family, for themselves.
That's absolutely amazing. That's really, really good. So, another question I want to put to yourselves is that during this pandemic, how have you both dealt with staffing issues as well? Because I know, Sam, you're still producing food and things like that. But Selena, for you, your staff are not in the shops at the moment. So how are you dealing with your staffing at the moment? Because I know of some people in Ghana who have been let off during this time. So how are you dealing with staffing during this pandemic? And this is to you, Selena.
My staff are home, and I'm practically using just one at the moment. She runs the social media pages, and so she puts out the products out there. The rest of them, they're pretty much resting. But the production team, the workshop production team are back to work since yesterday, because my customers have been asking for some face mask, the print ones and the plain fabric ones. Yeah, the cloth ones, basically. Yeah. So production staff are back to working since yesterday. But for the past 4 weeks, it's just been one sales executive who's been running the social media pages and trying to sell through social media for me. But in March, they got full pay. April, sales are so bad. So at best, I might give them half pay, And I've spoken to them about it, and they all understand. they are empathetic. Fortunately, it's not been easy. Yeah.
I can imagine.
And well done, Samuel, for what you're doing for the NHS. God bless you.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But moving forward, Selena, to deal with situations like this, are there certain things that you will be putting in place for your staff, so that if this was to happen again, that you'd be in a better position with regards to sales and things like that?
Yeah, sure. Moving forward, I'll definitely put a clause in the contract I have with them, or have a verbal agreement with them that in situations like this is how the pay package will be, and then also we'll definitely have to work on our e-commerce, our digital platform, so it'll be easy to sell even when the shop is not open. It'll definitely help. And also all the cleaning will continue. We're definitely practicing cleanliness, and I think we'll definitely stick to that, because we take things for granted. People come on, try on things, you just put them back on the shop floor, and it's not right. Yeah, and for the safety of the staff as well, I make sure that I provide gloves, face mask, and protect them, as well as protect our customers.
Fantastic. That's really, really good.
Thank you.
You'll be putting that in place, and hopefully other people will take on that with their businesses as well when they see you putting that in place. So that's really encouraging to hear. So I know, and that's the same question to you, Sam, as well. Obviously, you're working with food. How is that working in your factories, with your staffing? What have you put in place to manage?
For us, because we have the accreditation in place, that kind of almost prepared us for this kind of situation anyway. So in the industry, constant cleaning of your hands before you go in a factory is something that is already part of our system. We've always had the correct PPE for all of the staff members before they go into work. Regular team meetings. The main thing when the pandemic started to get really serious over here and lockdown started to get introduced was just having a meeting with the staff and just talking to them about their mental well-being and making sure that they felt safe. Any queries that they did have coming into the factory or anything like that will be addressed. And if they feel that they need to be at home with their family, then they can do so. But we've got systems in place and the facilities in place also to always make sure that we protect our staff at all times, and foremost, because we've got a brilliant workforce, and they all understand the situation that it's in at the moment. So everybody is always thinking about each of their colleagues and then how they're keeping social distancing in place. Our drivers, when they go out for deliveries, they've got sanitizers with them at all times. They have gloves, they have masks. So these are things that is part of our process and our system in the first place. But now it's a bit harder to get some of the equipment in as such. But I think just moving forward, it's just mainly just maintaining the mental well-being of staff, people in general, because it's not an easy time, and it's going to be a time that's going to last for some time to come. So basically keeping that in mind and working with everyone the best way we can is really important.
That's really, really good. And would you say this has been the toughest time for you in business? The amount of years that you've been doing business, would you say this is one of the toughest times?
To be honest, it's not the toughest time, because we've built the systems in place, and we're fortunate enough to be part of the essential businesses that are trading. But the toughest time was preparing customers. Probably the hardest time ever within the business for myself as an individual, and trying to lead it in that kind of way. But now it's just a matter of adhering to what's being put in place and working with it.
Okay. And so with regards to customer engagement, because both of your businesses require face-to-face interaction with your customers. So question for you now, how are you maintaining your customer engagement? How are you trying to still keep in contact with your loyal customers and also new customers as well that have come across your brand? What have you put in place? How are you maintaining that relationship?
Right. So we've been sending out messages to our customers. We post on our social media every now and then just so they know that we are there, we care about them, and it's not all about come by. You know, most of the posts I've put out there since we closed down the shop have been checking up on them, putting out messages that will encourage them, for them to stay positive, stay at home, follow the preventative measures. And then I have some older clients that I actually call personally just to check up on them, and they love that. They're like, oh yeah, I actually call them and I chat with them on WhatsApp, and so I've been trying to engage them and, you know, encourage them as well. So, and let them know we're all in it together, and very soon we will all be able to come out again, come to the shop, and then see each other and all that. And then also my staff as well, you know, I make sure I communicate with all of them every single day, check up on them. Those that are struggling financially, I still try to help them, even though they've been paid for the last month. So I'm pulling out all stops, you know, trying and using everything I can, to make sure that everybody's happy and staying positive.
Exactly, and that's how it should be. Really good. So as well with how are you keeping that customer engagement levels? I know you've got different initiatives that you put out. So how are you maintaining that with your customers?
With the customers, we have always adhering to the measures that are in place in terms of social distancing. When the customers come to the store, we've got a kind of like visor in place that protects our employees as well as the customers that come into the store. We've got notices that are up that tell the customers, to please keep these social distancing measures in place. We communicate with all of our wholesale customers as well that we deliver to, and we let them know that they have good connections with the drivers as well. So the shops would open a bit earlier for us. They would let us come in and leave stock inside there, so they're not mingling with customers and stuff like that. And just maintaining, like was saying, on social media as well. So putting out the news in terms of initiatives that we are doing, letting people know what times we are trading, best times to come to the store, and just maintaining overall engagement.
Yeah. And would you say that, but as both business owners, that social media has played a key role in your businesses during this pandemic?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It's been so helpful. I don't know what I would have done without social media. It's helped a lot.
Social media is the key thing in this day and age. I think you have to adapt it to your business, otherwise you're left behind pretty much. So yeah, definitely.
So sorry, say that again.
I said social media is the place to be. It's like free marketing.
It definitely is. So for anyone that's listening, that's a business owner, or maybe an aspiring business owner that wants to get into fashion or food, what would you say would be to prepare to launch their business? What 3 things would you say that they should do to be able to do it successfully? And that's to you, Sam. What 3 things would you say?
I think this applies to not even just food, but I think business in general is prepare to be resilient. Know your story, and as I said before, know your numbers, and be factual and understand the industry that you want to get into. It's always going to be a slow start, but perseverance, willingness, drive, passion. These things is what's going to get you through. And you have to have self-belief. You have to believe in it more than anybody else. Otherwise, sometimes you will get a bit down, and people might want to deter you away from it. But you have that vision that you have for what you want to do. You have to wholeheartedly believe in it, and leave the rest to just put in God's hands. You'll be able to provide.
That's amazing. Those are some golden nuggets, and I hope that those that are listening have tapped into those. And if you didn't get those, then you'll be able to get a recording of this, which as we're live on our social media platforms. So those are amazing points. Thank you so much. And over to you, Selena.
The first thing I'll say is make sure what you want to pursue is what you're passionate about. Make sure you're passionate about it, and it's something they can actually make money from. Because a lot of people are passionate about things that they can't make money from, So make sure you're truly passionate about it, you can make money from it, and it's something you can actually do and excel at. Number 2, have a business plan. It's important. So where you're heading to, the vision, your mission and all that. So make sure you have a business plan. And then number 3, be determined. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. We're sitting here talking and making it sound easy, but I've been in business for 8 years, and trust me, it took about 3 years before I even started making some proper real money. I was just breaking even initially. So it takes a while, take baby steps, and then gradually you'll be able to walk and then run. Don't just start straight away and think that, you will probably even have a shop. I started the first year without a shop. I was selling for my car boots. It took a year before I could rent my own shop. And it takes a while. It took 3 years before I won my first award, So don't think it will happen overnight. It takes time. Be patient, and at the right time, things will fall into place. And make sure you have the God factor as well. I'm Ghanaian. I have to say that. No, not that. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. Honestly, faith in God helps. Through the thick, the thin, the downs and the ups and the lows and all that, God will see you through, and never give up.
Exactly. That's amazing. And Sam said his mom's favorite saying so we've all got to hold it on to God and through everything, that there is an end goal and you'll eventually get there. So thank you guys so much for those top tips. But I know that we are far against time, but I'm going to just dive into some questions really quickly. So we've got, okay, I have one, bear me one sec. Okay, so so we've got a question for Sam. I've got like 3 questions for you, but okay, but I'll start with one. We'll do them as quickly as we can. Okay. So for Sam, what new products has Uncle John developed over the last few years?
Funnily enough, we there was a string of new products that we were bringing forward, but my mum loves always bringing new stuff and new ideas. But my thing was always, let's perfect and do what we have there properly. Let's put the right thing in place. Let's make sure that we've done our scientific research behind the product. Make sure we send it off for testing. All these things is something that I make sure that is done. So new products is not something that was too much of the focus. We've got a range of about 24 different products that we do. But a lot of people just mainly know about the sweetbread. But we've got different types of bread. We've got cake, we've got pies, we've got donuts. We do the chico as well. So recently, we're going to start doing the flour. We are going to start doing platters as well. So we're going to do sandwiches. That's going to be for a lot of like businesses and events and restaurant catering as well. So there's different dynamics that we're kind of getting into.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So on to my next. Yeah, I hope that answered this. I'm sure it answered this question. Yeah. So on to the next one. So are there any technical challenges in getting the new products and quality right and making production quality consistent?
The challenge was always in the beginning, in terms of understanding how the infrastructure of going into like a major retailer works. But once you do it once, it becomes you've got a system in place. It becomes very systematical to put that into another product. When we first started with Morrison's, we had the buffalo and the cake sweetbread inside Morrison's. But after a few months, we decided to change it and add new products inside. And the process for that was very seamless. It was very simple to do because everything came from before. But it's understanding the system from beforehand. So when you're getting into food, for instance, you need to make sure you do your level 2 food health and safety. Your HACCP inside out, which is health analysis, critical control points. And these kind of things will kind of give you an insight exactly of how to maneuver, knowing your nutrition for your food. You're sitting down with a buyer, for instance, and they're going to ask you, okay, so what is your background? Do you have...
I think we may have lost him. Are you still with us, Sam? Okay. Whilst we wait for Sam to reconnect with us, I believe, Celine, you're still with us?
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, he's back.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think we lost a little bit of the end, what you said at the end.
So yeah, I was just finishing up saying that basically just make sure that you have everything in place. So not, your accreditation is going to be important, and having that right system and knowing traceability. For us, when we sell a loaf of sweetbread, if there is any single problem with any loaf that is out there, we're able to trace it to who prepared that loaf, what time it was prepared, which suppliers supplied us on what day it was done, and all of this is needed and is systematical, and these logistics behind what you need to do when you're going to go to a retailer, and you need to know that before you make that approach.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I hope that answered your question for the person that answered it. Yeah. And over to you, Selena. As a female entrepreneur, what are some of the challenges you faced in the fashion industry in your part of the world?
My biggest challenge is human resource, finding the right skillful people with the right mindset, professional, ethical, to work with. Most of them just don't have the right attitude to work in this part of the world, and some of them are skillful, but they have bad work ethics, and then some of them to have good work ethics, but they're not as skillful. So trying to find people that have both, very difficult. I'm trying to find staff that are loyal as well. Most of them come and they see retail to be sort of like a springboard, a stepping stone, so they get a job because they just need a job, not because they really want to work in retail. And then once they get some corporate work, they want to leave you. So it's hard finding loyal customers that'll stay with you for a long time, and then skillful people as well. It's been my biggest challenge. So there was a time when my staff turnover was quite bad, but lately, I think I've got my team is good. I've got a team that, I like the team I have now, and we're making it happen. But it's been a real problem trying to find the people that will give you the kind of quality and the kind of professionalism that you want. Another challenge has been e-commerce. I mentioned that earlier on. E-commerce too has been a big problem in this part of the world. But I think the banks right now are putting the payment system in place to make it easier for the business people that sell online to be able to have a very good and functional e-commerce website.
Awesome. And I hope that the system becomes better for businesses like yourself, because it would open so many other doors as well for you. So hopefully as the years go by.
Yeah, then you can sit in Ghana and sell to the whole world. Yeah, exactly. It will definitely make it much easier.
And just be making money. So, that's the aim of the game. Awesome. Thank you so much. Another question for Sam. What happens to the question for Selena? I need some more questions for Selena, please. So, for Sam, as you've expanded over the years, have you had any challenges to the machinery or processes you use in production, and what kind of changes have you made?
There's been a lot of changes to machinery and processes and everything like that. When I got involved with the business, we were based on, a lot of people might know West Green Road, which is where our store is. We used to bake there. We used to dispatch. We used to do our deliveries from there. That's where the shop was. But I kind of realized that if we are to grow, we need to be in a much bigger space for one. And we need to have, a good system flow in place in order for other retailers or, supermarkets and stuff to take us seriously. So we acquired, one of the first things was acquiring 2 new factories. So we've got factories that we now operate from. The machinery that was in place, before the staff used to mold the dough by hand. And that was done as a process as well. So I did a lot of research, found out machinery that you could get in place. And now we've got machinery that literally, once the mixer does the dough, it goes straight through the, it's called like a divider. So we'll go through the divider, it will prove it by itself, gets put into the tins, it goes into a freezer, and then it goes into the oven. And that flow is what the system is, and how it does and that bags egg. So that makes it also easier on staff as well. So reducing staff working hours was also something that we needed to do, because the capacity of where we wanted to get it to, you need machinery. It can't be too labor intensive, but at the same time, we don't want to steer too much away from, it's a home baked good. We want to keep it as authentic as possible. So was the process. So quite a bit of machinery was added in.
Awesome. Okay, so I know we're short for time, and this conversation has been great. Honestly, it's It's been great. But before I wrap things up, just wanted to ask you, Selena, what can we expect after the pandemic? 20 is not over yet. There is still room for change, and there's still room for improvement. So, for 2020, what can we expect from Selena Bebb?
In 2020, did you say in 2020 what to expect from Selena Bebb?
In 2020, yes, please.
Sorry, it's really bad. I'm struggling to hear you.
Sorry, what can we expect in 2020 from Selena Bebb?
Right, okay, so we launched our clothing line last year, and this year we have another exciting collection coming up from our clothing line. So that's the major thing right now. It's all about clothing line because, you know, people know about the accessories, but we want to announce our presence when it comes to clothes. So we're working on a new collection during this lockdown, and hopefully we'll come out with amazing designs that people will love. We were due to make 1 or 2 shows outside Ghana, but with the COVID-19, I don't think I feel safe traveling for a while now. So yeah, maybe we'll do a couple of fashion shows in Ghana. There's Great Africa Fashion Week coming up in October, but yeah, but it's all about the clothing line. We're coming up really, really nice designs. So I encourage everyone to pass by the shop once we reopen. Hopefully we will reopen next week. So pass by the shop and check out the current designs and then the new ones that'll be coming up as well.
Awesome. And for those that are interested in buying your bags and visiting your shop, you will announce that on your social media platform?
I should announce my social media platforms?
Yeah, so when your shop reopens, that will be, people will be able to find out social media.
Yes, it'll be on the Selena Bebb, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Yeah.
Awesome. And over to you, Sam. Can we expect a gluten-free brand, vegan brand of bread, donuts? What can we expect from Uncle John's Bakery in 2020?
We're going to be launching some new kind of cakes that we're going to be doing. We're also going to be doing some new donuts that are going to be coming out as well. So it's similar to the buff-rolled donut, but it's a bit more, changed, a bit more modern with how it is now. And then apart from that, it's just facilitating new partnerships that we've just literally done this year with Italy, partnerships with other European countries as well, and parts of UAE.
Awesome, fantastic. So just before, I'm just going to have a look quickly if we've got one more question. I'm so sorry for the timing. Time will be on time, but the conversation has been great, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing.
It's been good. Hours not enough. It goes quickly.
Yeah.
It goes so quick, especially when you've got businesses like yourselves. It's so interesting. It's been great. I think I have one more comment. Awesome. So, all your social media platforms, if you can just briefly tell us where we can find you, how people can order bread, and also to know you don't deliver in my area, so maybe that's a conversation that we may have to have, because some of us need bread and butter during this quarantine season. And also an interesting fact, guys, Uncle John's bread actually has a shelf life of 14 days. I bet you didn't know that. So during this time of lockdown, that's the best place to get bread, no? So anyway, tell us where we can find you for all that's happening on your social media. Tell us where we can find you on. Yeah,
sure. So you can find us on our website, which is theunclejohnsbakery.com. Social media platform on Instagram, which is at unclejohnsbakery.com. We're on Twitter as well, out the S Bakery. And also in regards to ordering, one of the new features we put on our new website was people can now put in their postcodes and find their nearest shop.
Fantastic.
From wherever it's close to you, wherever it is, you can put in your postcode onto the website, and it will tell you your nearest store, whether it's Morrison's, whether it's a local store, and you can also put in a request. If there is a local shop that's near you, you can put in a request, and you can also talk to them about stocking them as well. And
awesome.
This year is our 25th year anniversary, so we was meant to do a small kind of like gathering kind of party to celebrate the 25th year anniversary, but we have to kind of wait for things to kind of start, and you'll see what happens.
Awesome. It's been great. And also, Selena, following, if you can just let us know where we can follow you and keep up to date with everything that we have coming up as well.
Okay, so my social media handles are Facebook at Selena Beb, Instagram and Twitter as well at Selena Beb. And then when you go on the social media pages, you find our WhatsApp number as well. So you can reach us via WhatsApp. Email is selenabebgh@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me on the EBE Live Conversation Tuesdays for the GUBA Trade Expo. Thank you guys so much. Our special guest, Sam Mensah, and also Selena Mensah. You guys have the same surname. But anyway,
thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in, wherever you are in Ghana, wherever in the UK. Thank you all so much. And also a big thank you to the GUBA Expo team for making this possible, because without you guys, I would be sitting here, and also my guests would be here. So thank you, team, for all the work that you do. And if you enjoyed today's session, please follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the social media platforms. Make sure you follow us, and also to find out what's happening next week, join my colleague Adra, who will be on as well next Tuesday with some amazing entrepreneurs as well. For more information on that, follow us on our YouTube page, and also our Instagram page. I've been your host, Lucy Dadson, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you all on today. Thank you all so much. Please keep safe. Home please don't go out unless you really have to, and let's continue to support our frontline staff as well. So thank you once again, and have a fantastic evening and a blessed week. Thank you all so much. Good night. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.